New Year's Eve. A night meant for celebration, resolutions, and hope for the future. But for me, it became a night I'd never forget for all the wrong reasons. My name is Rachel, and this is the story of how one night shattered my trust in my husband. Ethan and I had been married for 3 years. Our marriage wasn't perfect, but we always made it a point to celebrate important occasions together. This New Year's Eve, Ethan suggested we attend a party hosted by his coworker Marcus. "It'll be fun," he said, smiling. "A chance to meet new people and ring in the new year with friends." I agreed, though I would have preferred a quiet evening at home. I trusted Ethan and wanted to support his social side, even if it wasn't my comfort zone. I dressed up, excited to spend the evening with him and make memories together. The party was lively, with music, laughter, and the sound of champagne glasses clinking. Ethan introduced me to his co-workers, and everyone seemed friendly. But as the night went on, I noticed Ethan's attention drifting away from me. He started talking to a woman I'd never met before. She was dressed in a sparkly red dress and had an infectious laugh that seemed to catch his attention. At first, I didn't think much of it. Ethan was social and liked to make people feel comfortable. But then I saw the way he looked at her, the same way he used to look at me when we first started dating. My heart sank. I tried to brush off my feelings, convincing myself that I was overthinking. But as the night went on, things became more obvious. Ethan stood close to her, laughing at her jokes and leaning in as they spoke. At one point, I saw him place his hand lightly on her arm. My chest tightened. I felt invisible as I stood there, watching the man I loved giving someone else his undivided attention. When he leaned in to whisper something in her ear, and she laughed, I couldn't take it anymore. I walked up to Ethan and tapped him on the shoulder. "Ethan, can I talk to you for a moment?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. He looked startled, as if he'd forgotten I was even there. "Of course," he said, excusing himself from the conversation. We stepped outside into the chilly night air. The distant sound of fireworks filled the silence between us. "What's going on, Ethan?" I asked, crossing my arms. "Why are you spending so much time with her?" He looked at me, confused. "Rachel, it's nothing. She's just a coworker. We were talking about work." "Talking about work," I repeated, my voice rising. "You were laughing, touching her arm, whispering in her ear. Do you know how humiliating that was for me?" He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "You're overreacting. It's just harmless fun." Harmless fun. The words stung. "Do you think it's harmless to ignore your wife on New Year's Eve while you flirt with another woman?" Ethan didn't respond right away. Instead, he looked at the ground, as if searching for the right words. "Rachel, I'm sorry if I made you feel that way," he finally said. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I guess I got carried away." Carried away. The phrase felt like a slap. I had trusted Ethan, and in one night, he'd managed to break that trust. I turned to him, tears welling up in my eyes. "Ethan, do you even realize how much this hurts? I came here tonight to spend time with you, to start the new year together. But instead, I'm standing here wondering if you even care about me anymore." The rest of the night was a blur. Ethan tried to make it up to me, but the damage was done. I couldn't shake the image of him with that woman, the way he smiled at her, the way he seemed to forget I existed. For days, I struggled with my emotions. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and couldn't stop replaying that night in my head. Ethan apologized repeatedly, promising it would never happen again. But his words felt hollow. I decided to talk to my best friend, Lily. She listened patiently as I poured out my heart. "Rachel, you need to ask yourself if you can forgive him," she said. "Trust is the foundation of any relationship. If you can't trust him, you need to figure out what's best for you." Her words stayed with me. I realized I had a choice to make: hold on to the hurt or fight for our marriage. After much reflection, I decided to give Ethan another chance, but I made it clear that things had to change. "Ethan, if we're going to move past this, I need to see real effort from you," I told him. "I need to feel like I'm your priority again." He agreed, and for the first time in a long time, I saw genuine remorse in his eyes. He started coming home earlier, planning date nights, and making an effort to show me how much he cared. It wasn't easy, and there were days when the memory of that night still haunted me. But slowly, we began to rebuild the trust that had been broken. Thank you for listening to my story. Relationships aren't always perfect, but they require honesty, communication, and effort from both sides. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more English stories. See you next time.